What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about a direct statement from Nintendo themselves, their Nintendo Co. Ltd. official site, Japanese, the IR site, man. They have called out Bloomberg in particular with the recent report on the Nintendo Switch OLED and profit margins. Now, I didn't cover in a news video the original report just because things looked a little bit sketchy in terms of what they were saying there, and it was coming off the heels of them talking about the Nintendo Switch Pro and how it was more powerful and all of that. So I was already a little hesitant. But before we get into what Nintendo had to say here, please make sure you hit that like button and also subscribe if you are someone new for daily gaming videos in addition to live streams, and hit that notification bell as well. So on the official Nintendo Co. Ltd. Twitter account, here is what they had to say recently about a Bloomberg report that stated that the Nintendo Switch OLED only costs $10 more to manufacture over what they had previously, and with the $50 markup is causing the extreme profit margins that many content creators and also users were very critical of Nintendo about, and there was no actual ironclad proof of this. So here's what Nintendo had to say. A news report on July 15th, 2021, JST, claimed the profit margin of the Nintendo Switch OLED model would increase compared to the Nintendo Switch. To ensure correct understanding among our investors and customers, we want to make clear that the claim is incorrect. We also want to clarify that we just announced that Nintendo Switch OLED model will launch in October 2021 and have no plans for launching any other models at this time. So that is standard in terms of what they said in the second half, but what I want to focus on is what they said in the first part of this big tweet, because there was a lot of uproar from people out there, and I briefly talked about it. I know we discussed it on the Spawncast in terms of what's going on and how other companies have done markups and stuff like that, but I was never so sure on that. And I think that this, in my opinion, I'm hoping, even though history has repeated itself a million times, I hope that this can stop the knee-jerk angry reactions to anything, or the knee-jerk crazy reactions of hype to just rumors or just to other things, and people can think rationally about anything, especially when it's a rumor. We do not know officially what the markup in terms of the prices is for the Nintendo Switch OLED. We do not know exactly what parts they're using for the enhanced audio and what was going on there. We just don't know at this point. And the fact that Nintendo actually had to come out and make a statement against that because they saw the number of people reporting on this and talking about this and how it affects their business when it comes down to things. Like, it's a big effect, because now you're going to have, I would say, like, investors saying, oh, well, they've marked this up by however many percentage or all that. That's going to be reflected once this thing goes on sales. There were people reporting sellouts of the Nintendo Switch OLED, or that it was selling extremely well. So that can cause a flurry of expectations for investors, and can also let consumers think, well, wait a minute here, they're charging me way more extra for something that barely costs more, and I didn't get my Switch 4K or DLSS or any other type of thing with it. That's not fair. That's what we've been seeing so far, based off of a report, based off of a rumor, and nothing that they actually physically showed us that showed that, yes, this is the components that they're using inside for this. This is what they're using inside for this, and this is what's going on. So that's the reason why it's only this price more. They just said sources that they have. Like I said, I always took it as, okay, well, maybe that could be the case. Nintendo has made profit off of their previous systems when it comes to manufacturing and what's going on here, but we don't know everything here at this point. So I'm not going to sit here and get crazy angry about it. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not completely untrue or whatever. I'm just going to take it as, okay, maybe it's the case, maybe not, but nothing is official. And the fact that Nintendo had to come out here and say that, that is a big blow to Bloomberg and their credibility. That is a big blow to what a lot of people have been reporting on. A lot of content creators have been saying, oh, this is the case, and I'm angry about this, or I'm going on about this. And I've seen people just completely spread this article and spread what Bloomberg was doing as if it was fact, not saying, hey, it's a rumor, not reporting as a rumor, but reporting as if, yes, this is what's happening, because nobody wants to give the benefit of the doubt to Nintendo. Nobody wants to give the benefit of the doubt whenever it's something that they're against or something that they're not liking or not feeling at the moment. So therefore they have to be angry about it and project that anger in terms of tweets. And like I said, big content creators, Twitter users, whatever the case is, they have to project that out there as if it's fact because they're angry about what's going on or because they didn't get what they wanted with the system or from a company or whatever the case is. So it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that Nintendo actually had to come out here and say this about this here. But at the same time, I think this is a very valuable lesson. This is a very valuable lesson that one, I mean, we need to wait for more information. We need to wait till we actually get a product. We need to wait till there's actually more information about what is going on with said product. We need to actually see some of the proof. We need to actually be able to know what's going on there. Otherwise, just take it as just a rumor, even if it says report in there or whatever the case is. And I'm adjusting how I'm looking at things too. Even though I'm pretty cautious as it is, I'm still even adjusting more what I look at. So there's definitely a lesson to learn here when it comes down to this. But I'm actually glad that Nintendo came out here and said this. Like, don't get me wrong. I said what I said about the Nintendo Switch OLED. I felt that it would have been great if they were able to get it at that $299 price, then have a discount of the other two platforms. But then I looked at it on both sides, from that side saying, hey, it would have been great based off of what we know about the system. But I understand from their standpoint in terms of the Nintendo Switch selling very well, the Switch Lite selling very well, and there's no need for a price drop when they're already selling very well with what they've got. So the consumers out there think that it's good value or they like what's going on there. So there's no reason for them to say, okay, let's slash the prices down when people are buying it at what it's at based on what's on the market. So there was no need. So I looked at it from both sides and I said, hey, let's wait and see what comes of it. But I think at this point, we can clearly see here now that Nintendo definitely didn't feel like playing around with this one, considering the type of videos, considering the type of articles that were popping up when it comes to it. And Nintendo doesn't do this very often, especially when it comes to rumors or reports and stuff like that. They'll usually just back off or just say, we don't comment on the rumors and speculation. But this one seemed to be a little bit too much for them to just sit there and ignore it from an official place like Bloomberg, that apparently does have some sources. But lately, let's just be real here, Bloomberg has been off. They've been taking a few L's here and there at this point, and I think that we need to really, like, going forward, knee-jerk reactions and just assuming this is true or whatever, or pushing it that way and not speaking more in a hypothetical sense and looking at it from both sides, that needs to be more of the standard. Like, the fact that people push things so quick when there's a check mark by the name or it's like a established type of place is a problem. I get it. They probably have some sources or know some people or whatever the case is, but that doesn't mean you can knee-jerk reaction, get angry, or take what they're saying as 100%. Things need to be said as rumors and hypotheticals until we get that confirmation, and treat it that way. Don't get super hyped or crazy about something. Don't get super down or whatever on the other thing. It goes on both sides here. So I'm hoping this finally puts a nail in that type of thought process. It finally shuts down and kills that type of thought process going forward here, because I mean, this is pretty damning that they'd had to come out and say this type of thing to the credibility of what's going on there. But once again, I don't want to take this as this is like a thorough, okay, it's not true whatsoever, Bloomberg was just completely wrong on everything or anything like that. I don't want to sit there and slam them, you know, when it comes down to it, and that's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to say is that Nintendo has came out here and refuted what's going on here. we don't have more information in terms of the actual product in our hands. The only people who know exactly are people who've worked on it with Nintendo or whatever the case is. But until we actually get that product in our hands and we can trace back to how much this and that costs or whatever the case is, we can't sit here and run with whatever someone has to say when it comes to Bloomberg on this. At least I know I didn't. I talked about it and I said, okay, well, maybe, but I never ran with it or got angry one way or another. But once again, that's just my thoughts on it. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys for the next one. Peace.